Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Daily Smoke Presents.
Talk About It Thursday, the happiest hour.
That's right. And I'm back here joining Danessa Bolin again on another adventure on the couch. So, let you have it, sister.
So I'm going to let you have it because
You
I'm
know,
going to turn the show over to you today. You're going to interview
this is supposed to be
me.
good. So I
know it's my show.
I gotta do the interview.
Yes.
Damn.
We talked about this. You're going to do my interview because
Okay.
it's my birthday week.
Okay, fine.
It's my birthday week.
But before we get into that, gonna give a shout out to our sponsors, right? B? All right. So we're gonna start with bangin832.com. Check out Bangin832 Radio at bangin832.com, and they do put up previous episodes of the Daily Smoke every Sunday at 7 p.m. But do check out everything that they have on their platform because it's a full-blown Houston radio station. So anything you might be interested in and Houston homegrown radio, please check them out. Of course, we got our sister over at Tamia's Touch of Care Massage Therapy. If you want to get with life, get a massage. So please check out at www.tamiaanderson.com. Of course, we have the Buy Black Market from Shrine of the Black Madonna. Ultimate pop-up experience every first and third Saturday of the month, and just from 12 to 6 p.m. At 5309 MLK Boulevard. So please be sure and check them out. Support Black-owned businesses, and if you got a business that you're trying to get out there and promote, no better place to get the word out. So please check that out and hit their website up if you want to register. Also, for the month of October, well, by the time it says, it actually be in November.
Right. It'll be November 3rd.
So, well, we're filming this in October, so it's ADHD Awareness Month, so it won't hurt y'all to think about ADHD for a couple days after. You'll be all right. So please make sure y'all keep that in mind. You know, try to find out what you can about the condition, you know, and learn how you can help people with the condition. It's not as alien as you think. A lot more people have it than you probably realize. So please be sure and keep that in mind. And then, of course, last but not least, coming up on November the 10th, our very own Tiffany Scales, the word mortician, is going to be interviewing on Long Live the Arts. American poet, writer, commentator, activist, and educator, legendary Nikki Giovanni. That is coming up on November 10th. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. But
So, I will give the preface for today's conversation and why I'm turning it over to you.
Okay.
So when I decided on what the next episode would be, of course I always know what the next episode is going to be when I finish the previous one. I knew I wanted to talk about emotional wellness.
Okay.
And I came up with the title "Get in Your Feelings," because
I still like that.
and the reason why I came up with that title is because I have been hearing the phrase "get out your feelings, get out your feelings, get out your feelings" a lot. I hear a lot of people say, "Nah, man, get out your feelings, get out your feelings." You know, every time somebody's experiencing an emotion, others want to say, "Man, get out your feelings."
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, get in your feelings. Let's talk about that shit. Let's unpack that.
But it makes sense, though. It makes sense for the themes that you've talked about, and for the things that you've even done your events around. You know, it makes sense because that's really what you're trying to do is get people to get into their feelings, get in touch with this, and then let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
Yes. And so, even in my last event on emotional not the last one, the one back in July was all about emotional wellness.
Right.
And so, in the process of doing that one, I was going through a lot of emotions that day and was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with my venue hostess, and it was just a hot mess. And so we were talking about emotional wellness in that one, and that one was leading up to the next one, which would be social and relational wellness. And really, I said, even back then, I don't think I'm going to really be able to do social and relational wellness without revisiting emotional wellness. The two are so intertwined.
Really, yeah.
And I was right. I was right. So I wanted this one to be get in your feelings.
Okay.
Get in your feelings. I also knew that we would be recording it as I wrapped up my birthday week. Because
Okay.
I don't just celebrate my birthday. I usually celebrate for the whole month or at least the whole week. I celebrate until I think it's complete.
It has to feel complete.
It has to feel complete, and then I'm ready to, okay, now I can move on.
Gotcha.
And really, the final thing in it for me is always that a friend of mine and I always go to one of the Landry's restaurants for our birthdays and celebrate them together. Okay. That's like the
That's
finale.
the closing
That's
ceremony.
the closing ceremony.
Okay.
But for me, the celebration is never over until like I feel it's complete and I'm ready for the transition.
So how are you on that scale of completeness?
Think I'm still in progress, and I think that's the reason why I'm turning the show over to you today.
Because you're still in progress.
Because I'm still in progress, and I think that a part of this conversation will get me through that transition of being complete. Because I will tell you, I was just like, it's the happiest hour. Get in your feelings. Welcome to joy. Because that's my thing for being 54. So is welcome to joy. I thought it was anyway.
So let's start there. Okay. So let's start on birthday morning. Let's start there.
All right.
So birthday for those who don't know, tell them the date.
My birthday is October 24th.
So her birthday just passed.
It just passed.
That was Monday, right?
Yeah, that was Tuesday.
Sorry.
That was Tuesday.
So we wake up Tuesday morning and the joy was just sitting on your chest.
Nah.
No. What you mean? What you mean now?
No, it wasn't. Well, and I guess, to make it make sense, to be honest, the 6 months leading up to my birthday have been an upheaval in my life.
Really? Okay.
Like literally, it started in April.
Okay.
It started in April, and things were just kind of like an upheaval. Things started changing for people around me, and that was affecting me a whole lot as I was trying to help other people navigate things that were going on with them. And so even when I did the event on emotional wellness, it was like, I think all of the stuff was picking up speed at that point.
Okay.
So there were like a lot of transitions going on. Like I ended up after the event on emotional wellness, I left my church.
Wow.
That was a big one for me because I had been there 21 years and
that had to be tough.
It was tough. It still is tough. It still is tough in its own way. I didn't talk about it a whole lot. I had a relationship that started and ended in the past 90 days. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
I had a relationship that went from we had been friends for over 20 years to, hey, I think it's time for us to give this a shot. I said, okay. We tried and then went to hell in a handbasket and we're not even friends anymore.
Damn.
Yes. All of that.
Damn.
Yes. So, mind you, I had already decided months ago that my theme for 54 years old was going to be
joy.
Right.
Because you've been talking about it.
I've been talking about it. Joy. It's going to be joy. All of 54. And 53 was all about life, and 53D was like living life transparently. Okay. So, like, what I was going through, I wasn't trying to bullshit people. Just let everybody just see this is like how life is going,
Good, bad,
good, bad, ugly, all of that. And some did see and some did not. Was very transparent thing. But so all of that, I had decided like 54, whatever is happening when I wake up that morning, it's gonna be joy. And I'm deciding who's coming into my joy and who's not. And if you're stressing me out, you're getting on my nerves, you got bad energy, you are not welcome into my joy here. Plain and simple, period. I'm waking up with joy.
Okay.
And I woke up and I went to bed knowing that, wow, tomorrow everything's going to be different because it's going to be my joy year and I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be filled with joy.
Right.
And it's going to be great. And I woke up and I was laying there and I went, okay, thank you, God, I'm alive.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, this flood of emotions came over me.
Wow.
And I was like, this don't feel like joy. This doesn't feel like joy. And I was like, where's my joy? I don't like this. This doesn't feel like joy. What happened to joy? And I I found myself just laying there trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
Okay.
Because I had a precept in my mind of how it was going to happen. And I'm a believer, and I know we have different faith. We have different belief systems. But I'm a believer.
Right.
And I woke up, thank you, Ron. Thank you, choir section back there.
Right.
I woke up and I'm thinking all this, and I'm laying there and I'm going, God, like, thank you, first of all, for waking me up. I'm happy to be alive.
Of course.
Okay. But this doesn't feel like joy, and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm not ungrateful for waking up, but this doesn't feel like joy. And the Spirit said to me, you cannot command joy. It has to be cultivated. Let's start digging.
Okay.
And I just bawled. It was like,
Oh, so
like
that was your shovel of choice.
oh my God. Oh my God. So what I realized in that moment, what that said to me, talk about cultivating, was that in order to cultivate joy, I had to dig up what no longer served me.
Okay.
And so I had to mourn everything that had been upheaved in the past 6 months or so. So all that stuff that I was like, whatever, okay, fine, it's changed. Okay, that won't be here. I guess, we're clearing out all this stuff for this next year of life. I realized I had to go through a legitimate mourning process that I had delayed.
You had to clear the slate.
I had to clear the slate. And you think about cultivate, you garden, right?
Right. Trust me, I'm sitting here making gardening analogies in my mind.
You make a garden. So I got this visual of, I'm not a gardener, but I like to play with the dirt and stuff like that. So you got to get down there and you got to dig up. And you got to look for stuff. You got to find the rocks.
Anything.
You got to pull up the weeds. You got to make sure there aren't any bugs and invaders that aren't supposed to be there. Some stuff got to come up out of the roots. Some of that stuff is really hard to get up.
Not only that, but then you got to put stuff down that's going to help the new stuff grow.
Look, shut up and keep talking.
You don't just get to dig up the old stuff. No, you got to make it fertile so the new stuff can grow.
Right.
You got to leave that behind.
Yes, and you can't just plant shit right away.
No.
And so I was like,
and it don't grow overnight.
No, and I had to learn that. That in that morning on my birthday
at 54.
At 54, I had to realize that. I was demanding joy. This is just gonna be.
You thought it was on tap.
I'm on tap. You decide to be happy, right? Because I'm here, and taking this back to everything I've talked about with emotional wellness, I know what emotional wellness does not look like.
Right.
I know what it does look like. I think for me, this was taking it a step further. I've talked about in the conversations that we've had about sometimes you got to go back and visit the residue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, some of that was the residue. I think some of it was taking things to the next level, taking it a little bit higher and really digging deeper and deeper and deeper. In order to take others to the next level, I needed to go there too.
Right.
And I just was like, I know what emotional wellness looks like. I've arrived, and and then the creator says, no, we gotta go a little deeper than this. We gotta go a little deeper.
People tend to underestimate that evolution, whether or not you're talking about it in a biological sense or an emotional sense. Evolution usually requires that the previous iteration gets wiped out. So if you want to evolve emotionally, there's going to be that death of the previous you.
Yeah.
Because the new you, in order for it to exist, it's like to say two atoms can't exist in the same spot at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have the new you and the old you in the same house.
Not at all.
One's got to go.
One's got to go, and one has got to go. And a big part of this for me was my mom died at 54.
Right.
She never made it to her 55th birthday, and for years, quite honestly, and I started talking about this as it led up to my birthday. I had lived since I was 35 years old, because I was 35 when she passed. I had lived since 35 trying not to die. And making sure that if I died, that everyone else would be okay. So, I wanted you to be okay. And I wanted Bobby to be okay, and Ron to be okay, and the podcast to be okay, and my friends to be okay, and my family members to be okay, and my classmates and work, and my clients, and everybody, the community, the church. I needed everybody to be okay before I died. My kids, like you name it, I encountered everybody. I tapped into everything with this thought process that you got to give it your all and make sure everybody is okay. Because when they come to your funeral, you want them to be able to sincerely say good things about you.
Oh, okay. That was the goal.
That was the goal. Like, I was writing my eulogy. Like,
the heck's wrong with you?
I no fucking idea. Like, no fucking idea. Like, the things that our brains can come up with, you know, and as a response to our hurt and our pain. And that was my response.
Trauma is a strange thing because our responses to it can be so out of left field. You're like,
out of left field.
Like what?
Yeah, like that. Like that. I made that decision that everybody needed to be okay.
Okay.
And it came from, I think the first thing it came from, other than like being totally caught off guard with my mother's passing, and you know, I also had to live with my dad was a heart transplant recipient. And he had his heart transplant in his 40s. So literally from 35 to now, the past 2 weeks, I was dying in my brain. Like I was just trying to. I was like, I'm going in it, you know. I would tell, and I apologize to my kids because I was telling them that I was like, y'all know your granny died at 54. I need you to get it together. What if I'm not here? Like, you know, I could die. You know, I was telling people this shit like all the time. Everybody in my life, I was telling them that. Even the friend that is no longer a friend said that. I realized I even traumatized him with it. Because he said every time I would have an ache or something, I hurt my elbow or something, and he's like, "You go to the doctor, you go to the doctor." And I'm like, "No, they can't do anything." And he said, "What have you been saying for years? For years. You've been saying, your mom died at 54. You're about to turn 54. And I was like, oh shit, I fucked you up too, huh? I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, I fucked you up too. My bad. Like, I didn't mess everybody up with this.
Oh, but that's the people that care about you, though. So
yes, so I have been dying. I was not living. Everything I did, quite honestly, was about everybody else.
So in this process of mourning, like you said, when you woke up that morning, what was it that made you start to come out of that?
Well, honestly, you know, the whole idea to have a joy year came from when back in June, I was volunteering for the Alzheimer's Foundation. I told that story. I told the lady from the Alzheimer's Foundation about my mother's passing and that whole thing. And so she said, you know, I know someone who journaled for a whole year about joy. Maybe you should consider that because you're just so beautiful. You have this beautiful smile. And I went, oh, I like that. And so I was like, joy. Okay. I'm going to do joy. I'm going to have a joy year. And as I kept talking about it, I thought to myself, you know what, Vanessa, you don't have anything on the plate past 54 because your ass thought you wasn't going to be here. So
That's
I didn't plan. I really didn't. I didn't plan. Like literally, if somebody said, what you going to do at 56, 60? Oh, no. Go ahead. Like shit.
I was doing good at 54.
54, I just wanted to make, like, in my brain, when I made it to 50, I thought, yes, I made it. Because I had 16 classmates that I graduated high school with that died before 50.
Wow.
So making it to 50 was like, yes. Whole week long celebration. We get back to New Orleans and everything. We apologize, people, if y'all heard that. Just recording this live. I'm going to put your first picture. Okay, you going to put the first picture up? So, Jonathan, I had you to pick out 2 pictures from these 2 photo shoots I did. I did a NOLA. I always call myself a NOLA baby and a Texas lady. Mm-hmm. And I had you to pick out 2 pictures.
Which one did you put up?
Which one is first?
The flying dress or the one in the hat? The one in the hat. Okay. So that one I picked because, and you mentioned it earlier, that one showed your smile. And you have a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
And that was just such a, especially talking about this year for you being the year of joy. To me, that picture just looked, the smile in that picture looked hopeful, and it looked like you were looking forward. You know what I'm saying? And in that picture, there was just a sense of joy and hope in that picture to me. Your smile seemed genuine, and the way you were looking and the way your eyes were focused in that picture just looked like you were focused on like a future.
Wow.
So I really dug that picture.
So interesting. The hope in that picture. Interesting.
Okay.
That picture was taken on my birthday.
Okay.
That was actually taken on my birthday, that Tuesday. And when you told me that was the one you picked, I went, interesting. Because that's what survival mode looks like.
That's why it was genuine.
That's what survival mode looks like. Of me just pushing through and making the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that was, because that day I was supposed to take the flying dress photos. And I had sucked it up and decided I couldn't go to New Orleans. I was going to take the flying dress photos and just do them here in Houston. Tiffany had actually found a designer to make me a dress after I gave up on going to New Orleans to take the pictures. And that morning of my birthday, he sent me a message and said the dress wasn't ready. So I had to come up with an alternative.
Okay.
And so I called the photographer, and I had the outfits that I wore already hanging up that I was going to wear later to dinner. And so I said, well, just suck it up, Buttercup. And, you're just going to make it do with those. And if the dress is ready, then fine. So what you saw in that picture was hope, because I was hoping the damn dress will be ready. And I have to tell you this, the designer, Noah, is amazing, because Noah got the phone call to design that dress on the Wednesday before my birthday. He had less than a week to put that dress together. He had never done it.
Okay.
But Tiffany called him and asked him, and so he did it for me. So you did see hope there. And so, yeah, that's what you saw. That's that. So interesting. That's the one you picked out, because that was the push through. That was the push through to make the best of it. Okay. And I did enjoy the photo shoot. I really did have fun with it, because I decided.
It seemed like it.
I decided, well, I always say I'm a NOLA baby and a Texas lady. Mm-hmm. And so since NOLA baby could not come out to play that day, I had to tap in the Texas lady. And that's how I feel about being a Texas lady. So, I mean, everybody won't get to see the full body, but it was the denim shorts with the kimono and a tank top and the cowboy hat and boots.
We're gonna leave them shorts alone, because I said I wasn't gonna pick one of those pictures, but anyway.
Okay.
But yeah. So the hope was genuine.
Yes.
And the light in the eyes was strength, maybe.
Push through.
That takes strength.
I guess.
That takes strength.
Okay, yeah. I guess we're going to tap into a little bit of that strength.
Yeah.
I guess so.
You got plenty.
Yeah.
You got plenty.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You can go ahead and switch it over.
You want to switch to the next one?
Sure, we can go there.
Full shot.
The full shot?
Full shot.
Okay, so now this is the flying dress.
Yes, it is.
And that's exactly why I picked this picture, because the way the dress is positioned behind you, it looks like wings.
Okay.
And I thought, she looks like an angel. And then the purple color of the dress is, and I always associate purple with royalty and regalness. And then it looks like, it literally looks like to me in that picture how the positioning of the dress and the way it's shaped, it looks like you have these purple wings coming out of your back. And I was like, that's just dope.
That was the butt. That was the butt.
Look, I done heard her make it clap, but I ain't never heard her make it flap.
Man, they can fly. They can fly. So, okay. So, again, talking about the flying dress. So,
Okay.
To show you, and I don't know, you may call it just fate or however you label it. For me, I call it proof that God loves me.
Okay.
Because that morning when I got the message that the dress wasn't ready and maybe I could reschedule the shoot, I called my god sister in New Orleans And I was trying to be a big girl, but I started crying.
Okay.
And I was like, "You making a flying dress and it's not gonna be ready. And what am I gonna do with this goddamn dress now? I don't want to." She's like, "Well, you can take them after your birthday." I was like, "That doesn't even make sense. That's just doing too much. That's over the top. I don't want to do that." And I'm like, "It's okay. It's okay." I knew it was too much. I was just like,
So wait. So doing it on your birthday is not doing too much or over the top. Doing it after your birthday is doing it too much, doing too much, and it's over the top.
yeah, because I was just like, "That's too much." And again, I was like, I wanted to make sure I didn't make the designer feel bad when I talked to him
Right.
because he had such a short window.
Right,
And he
right.
had never done this before. And flying dresses are normally not custom dresses. But he made this dress. He custom designed that dress for me.
Wow. Okay.
So it was very special. So she's like, "You can still come home, honey, and take your pictures." And I'm like, "What the hell I'm going to do? Take the damn dress and pack it up and come to New Orleans?" And she's like, "Yes, you can do that." And so I was like, "Well, what the hell am I going to do that? When you off?" And she was like, "I'm off Thursday." And I was like, "The fuck? I'm going to take the dress and get on a bus and come to New Orleans on Thursday and take the pictures?" And all of a sudden it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
That's
That's what we're
yeah.
going to do. So it's like, okay. And so this was before the Texas Lady shoot. This was earlier today. And so decided then, book a bus. So I booked the Flix bus,
Okay.
packed the dress, and me and the dress were headed to New Orleans Wednesday morning.
Nice.
So that's what we did. So the picture of me in the dress is me in the dress in New Orleans.
Okay.
So originally I was supposed to take the flying dress pictures in New Orleans, canceled the photo shoot in New Orleans. Tiffany, our own Tiffany, had a fit because I was canceling it. Then she decided I didn't need to rent a dress or have somebody else's off the rack dress. She wanted me to have a custom dress. That's how she ended up calling Noah
Okay.
and got the custom dress made. The dress and I ended up in New Orleans after all of that. And the picture here, the picture that was shown there, is a picture of me at one of my favorite places from my childhood,
Okay.
City Park in New Orleans.
Okay.
I loved City Park. There is an amusement park at City Park, and growing up, I'm scared of roller coasters, so I wouldn't get on those. They did have one, but my favorite ride was the teacups and the carousel.
Okay.
And so when I booked the flying dress photo shoot, the location I chose was City Park. And I wanted to get inside the teacups. I wanted to get inside. I didn't get to get inside the amusement park and get inside.
Oh, that was the
so
picture.
that's the picture of me in front of Storyland.
Okay. Okay.
But that particular picture that you chose there, I was standing there and we were trying to we were talking about my god sister who was taking all the pictures. Her and my cousin and my godmother were standing there. And I think they were kind of like fussing over what's the next place to take them and where we were going next. And I turned around and I was looking out over the little pond and I was taking in the whole park. And in that moment, there was something about New Orleans that set in for me in that moment.
Okay.
And it was like this, yeah, this is home. This is still home.
Yeah.
And I felt at home in that. And there was joy in that moment, but even bigger than joy was there was a sense of peace. As I sat there, I stood there in that moment there and fully just took in that. And that's what my god sister caught in that photo.
Okay.
Like she just started snapping. She started snapping and that's what she caught in that. I was literally staring out into space. And there's some pictures of me after that where I'm smiling hard and I'm acting silly and all that stuff. But that was when she caught my attention. I went, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I started posing again. So I didn't even know she had caught that particular shot.
Okay.
But that's what that was me taking in the scenery and being at home and
Feeling
the
it.
joy.
Feeling that connection to New Orleans.
Feeling the connection to New Orleans. Fully feeling the New Orleans girl in me.
So, and I asked this just for background. So, how long has it been since you've lived in New Orleans?
I honestly, I haven't lived in New Orleans, and I've been in Houston most of my life. I graduated high school here.
Okay.
And people always tell me, "Oh, well, you're a Texan now." And I always say, I'm always going to be a New Orleans girl.
Right.
I'm always going to be a New Orleans baby. Like it it's something I can't explain, but it never left me.
So, because I want to touch on this, even though we don't have the picture of it. Tell me about the visit to the foundation. You said it was your grandmother's house, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that. I want to know about that.
Oh my gosh. So that was one of the places I wanted to take the pictures. And originally with the photo shoot, the professional shoot, I would not have been. But when I explained to the lady, she did tell me that she would follow me there. So Hurricane Katrina wiped away my grandmother's house.
Mm.
Well, it tore the house up. Like it tore so many things up. It totally just dilapidated. And so the house had to be torn down. Um, I have been fascinated by, and my rest of my family and my sister and I, we've gone back there and we've taken our kids and stuff back there. And I've been fascinated by how the foundation is still intact.
Mm.
Like literally when I walk up there, I can tell you where each room was. Like I walk up like I'm walking up the sidewalk and all of that. And so I decided to end the photo shoot where my life began, on my foundation.
See.
Yeah. That, oh God, I'm going to cry.
But that's worth it though.
That's why I'll always be a New Orleans girl.
Right.
And that's why, that's the joy right there of knowing who I am, where I'm from, and fighting fiercely for her. And in the past 6 months, she has been challenged, she has been pushed, and especially in the past 3 months, and the past month, even more so, as the intimate partner relationship ended, I found myself fighting for her.
Yeah.
For her fiercely. And so standing there on that foundation affirmed why I was fighting so hard. I had fought really hard to get back to her. For my 50th, I went back home because I just felt so disconnected and thrown off. And I kept feeling the pull to go home. And I went home and I reconnected with so many things from home that I had not connected with in a long time.
It's important sometimes to be able to go back and reconnect with your roots like that.
Yeah.
If nothing else, because it's a source of strength.
Yes.
You know, if I was watching a thing about trees the other day, and it was talking about how, have you ever seen those trees where they'll have the weird like knobby parts that just kind of stick out of seem like nowhere in the middle of them?
Mm-hmm.
They say what that's from 9 times out of 10 is the tree will get an infection of some kind. And what the tree will do, and it could be a bacteria, it could be a fungus or anything like that, but what the tree will do is it'll form this hardened section around that infection to try to cut the rest of the tree off from it. So basically that part exists with just the damaged tissue in it, so the rest of the tree can survive.
That's deep. That is friggin'. Oh my God, Jonathan, that is deep.
And you best believe when I'm listening to this, and I'm like, oh, well, that's like us.
That is like us. That is very much like us.
And I was totally fascinated. And I was just like, okay, this is really interesting. But when you see those trees that have those knobby, weird, bulbous parts just sticking out of the middle of a branch or sticking out of the middle of the trunk of the tree, that's what that's from.
Yeah.
That's the tree healing damage and growing beyond it.
That is deep. So what I'm wondering though, for the tree and for us though, is there a point where maybe we should cut that part off? Where that part no longer serves us? That part that was there to protect us so we could grow? Is there a point where that's no longer serving us?
But that's the thing. You can never really cut yourself off from your past. Those parts linger, but you can, I guess you could say, remove them from the mainstream so that they're not as big of an influence on your life, but they're always a part of you.
Yeah.
We deal with our, we survive our traumas.
Right.
We move beyond the things that hurt us, but those things, even though we may pass them up, they never really go away because if nothing else, they taught you something.
Right.
They taught you what not to accept. They taught you how you don't want to be treated.
Right.
They taught you how you don't want people to talk to you.
Right.
And so those lessons stay with you. So they are valuable in that sense,
right,
as a reminder of what you survived.
Right.
I've always said I've never been ashamed of scars.
Right.
You know, if I got a scar, an injury, or something, I'm not trying to hide it. It just is what it
Yeah.
is. If you're gonna see it, you're gonna see it, and that's why.
Yeah.
Because that taught me I'm never gonna put my hand on a hot stove again. You know what I'm saying?
So, and because I am one of the people with ADD. So, but this is the point I'm making with that.
Okay.
But what if that part on that tree or on us that grew to protect us from the infection, if it's stopping us from growing in other areas? Because that hard shell there, nothing is growing out of it.
That's true.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like, I think that's the next level.
Okay.
I think that's that next level. And that's why we had to have this conversation the way it had to happen organically.
Okay.
As I talk about the fact that, you know, like I said, the Spirit told me you can't command joy. It has to be cultivated, and some things have to be dug up. Yeah. With that infection and that part that, you know, okay, that shell that grows that'll protect the tree so it can still grow. But is it fully blooming? What if that part was cut off and because you deal with the infection, don't just cover it up. You know, you don't just like, okay, yeah, that happened to me. Let me cover this up. What if you take that, you fully deal with that, cut that part off, nurture it so that it can fully grow outward this way or outward that way?
Okay, so to keep our tree analogy going, so that reminded me of something else because I told you we've already talked about them in the gardening. So I saw. You ever heard of cloning trees?
Uh,
Okay, so if you take an apple, so you get a really good apple from the store, and you want to grow a tree from the seeds from that apple, the fruit you get from that seed could be completely different from the apple you ate.
mm-hmm.
The only way to guarantee you're going to get the exact same apple is to clone the original tree. So you take a branch off of that tree, or what some people will even do is they will cut the bark off the tree while it's still attached on a branch, and just take dirt, and you can pack it around. They even sell little kits that you can use to pack that dirt in there.
Mm-hmm.
And what will happen is because it's surrounded by dirt and the bark is exposed, the tree will start to grow roots at that spot. And you can get a whole nother tree from the damage that caused. So you can actually teach the tree how to grow beyond the damage.
But you got to treat it.
You got to treat it.
You got to treat it. So you got to deal with it.
Yes.
You can't just leave it there all covered up.
Because all you're going to do is wind up with that scar.
Right. And so if you want to move past the scar,
you got to take the steps in order to be able to grow beyond it.
And that's where I am. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation, and hopefully it will spark something for someone else too. Okay. You know, I know, and I can't wait to see the comments.
Should be.
I can't wait to see the comments, and I really hope have people watching this comment.
Tell us
so
what you think. We really do love the feedback. And when this airs, you know we'll be on the chat. So.
Yeah, we'll be on the chat for sure. But I think that's it for. I'm being selfish in this next season of my life. I ain't gonna lie, because I didn't even know, you know, past 55. I didn't think about it, but you know, I had to think to myself like, okay, you make it to 54. What if you actually live past 54 and 11 months, girl? Like, you gotta prep for that shit.
Right.
So
it requires at least a minimum amount of planning.
Right. So yeah, y'all bear with me and have fun with me in this next year of my life as I welcome joy. Because I had this theme about welcome to joy, and I had to switch it up and go welcoming joy. And in the process of welcoming joy, things like we talked about with the tree has to be dealt with. It's not enough to know that the scars are there. You got to acknowledge the scar.
Yeah.
And you got to like look at that scar and examine that scar. And if that scar no longer serves you and protecting you from something so that you can move forward, then you got to move. You got to do what you got to move on. You got to cut that shit out. You know, I'll give you a real life analogy. I'll give you a real life analogy from that. So talk about my roots. My great grandmother was one of 11 children. Out of those 11 children, there was only one boy.
Okay.
And my aunt, her sister, told me this story one day. She was telling us a story about the day that they decided they would never let a man know how much money they had.
Okay.
My great great grandfather was a sharecropper. You got to think about, way back then.
That time.
And so, not a very well educated man. So he would send his kids out to go work for him. And then he would collect the money. And so what he would do, she said, when they would all come back from the field, he would take my uncle, the one boy, and bring him up on the porch with him. And he would collect the money from all the girls. And the girls got mad one day and decided they were sick of Papa taking their money.
Okay.
And what they were going to do the next day, when they got paid, they would take a nickel apiece and hide it in their shoe. Okay. And it worked. He didn't question them because he didn't know how to add. So he didn't question them, and it worked. And so when it worked that day, the next day, they decided they did it again, and it worked. And so they decided from now on, never let a man know everything you got. Now you think about that, those little girls making that decision, what that does to generations after that.
Right.
I was taught how not to trust. I was taught what to look for. That wasn't right.
Right.
I wasn't taught what to look for that was good, just like being totally transparent and being honest.
Right.
And we're going to have to get into this some more next month when we talk about social and relational wellness. But if all I was taught was what not to look for, what the hell you think I recognized?
Those negative patterns.
I could recognize the negative and pick that shit out. Like, oh, you dysfunctional ass. A sexy dysfunctional ass over here. Because I know what to expect from you, right? I know what to expect from your ass, right?
She said sexy dysfunctional ass.
Over here. Shit.
Lord.
And you fine with your little dysfunctional self.
Like,
no, I can't trust you, but that's okay. I can control that shit.
Right. I can manage my distrust.
I can manage that.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's
crazy.
Like, we got to think about things that are passed on to us.
But when you have a generation who is raising a generation out of trauma, we've been taught how to deal with trauma responses rather than actually dealing with the situations. Mm-hmm. We've been taught our parents' coping mechanisms.
Right.
Then, in a lot of cases, actually being taught how to deal with the situations at hand. It's like, okay, but if all I know is coping mechanisms, then I'm never really addressing the issues. I'm just adapting and getting by.
Just coping.
That's it.
So, out of 10 little girls, and they have more girls than they have boys. I come from a female dominant family that have been taught never trust, never let them know everything you got. So all the men in my family pick dominant women.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah. A meek woman don't stand a chance. No, not at all. Not at all. Okay. Right? So for me, using this now that we just gave it that tree, it has to go beyond now. If I just use relationships as an example.
Okay.
That next level has to go beyond knowing the scars of dealing with people who I've not been able to trust. It has to go with dealing with that, cutting that shit off because it no longer serves me, and actually taking a chance and on people who maybe I can trust.
So go for the sexy functional man instead of sexy dysfunctional man. Yeah. Okay.
Like, bring a non-agenda having ass. That's sexy.
I can't stand it.
Well, I don't know what the fuck they expect from this motherfucker, but okay, here we go.
Right.
Literally.
Something completely different from what you're used to.
Yes. Because what I'm talking about that had happened with my great grandmother and her sisters, that's deeper than a generational curse. We always talk about generational curses, right?
Right.
But generational curses happen within a generation. What that is an iniquity. And an iniquity is ingrained within the family. It becomes a part of that family's their trait, their life. It becomes their badge of honor, their
Right.
armor or something like that. That's how that family operates. Does it serve us though?
That's
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. So that's next level.
You got me thinking about my family now.
I'm just saying, I can unpack that shit. I didn't get to get into it when we did the emotional wellness workshop, so we're gonna have to like unpack it more.
Okay.
I don't know. Tiffany and I were gonna partner up with this on a Taboo Tuesday and do like a full week of this, so we probably will revisit it. But yeah, it's deep. It's deep. It's deep. So, welcoming joy. Welcome to joy.
I like welcoming joy.
You like welcoming joy?
Because,
Yeah.
like you said, it's not on tap. It's not automatic. It's something that you have to cultivate. So this year is you cultivating joy.
Yes. And here's the thing. I don't know what it looked like.
And
So yeah, because I didn't play it for. I don't know what it looks like. So I have to be totally open to it. I have to let go of the control fact. Did you hear that? I'm gonna be like Bernie Mac. Did you hear that, America? Did you hear that? The Nelson Michelle Bowling is not gonna be in control.
oh Lord.
Yes, yes.
Oh Lord.
Extend the right hand of fellowship.
Are we ready? Are we ready for this?
I don't know. Y'all ready? I'm the one got to get ready for this to not be in control.
You ain't got no choice, but you know,
Yeah.
we gotta adapt to the Danessa out of control.
Yeah, like she's not gonna be in control. She ain't trying to control nothing. She ain't trying to run shit. She gonna let it happen. She gonna let it happen.
Just roll with it.
Yeah, and it's about me. And so I hope all of y'all have been happy. I really hope. I hope you happy. I hope you know I love you.
Of course.
I hope you know I'm here for you. I hope you know I want the best for you. Because unapologetically, this shit's about me.
It's all about you. But I mean, after, like you said, after living for years, thinking so much about other people
18 years.
and focusing so much on making sure that everybody else was okay,
Yeah.
you deserve that. Not only have you earned it, but you deserve it.
Yeah.
So yeah, indulge that, wallow in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business.
Lord,
Hey, yeah. Mind your business. You ain't no telling. I don't know. It's a blank slate out here. It's a blank slate out here.
yeah, look, fellas, y'all hear that?
Yeah, I got to.
So if you sexy and functional,
Yeah, go hear that shit for you. I swear. Don't. Hey. You know, if you got some shit you need to work on, that shit costs you $60 an hour. That is professional services. I'm sorry. No more pro bono.
no free therapy sessions.
No. Shit. Shit, no. Shit, no. I try, man. Because I be super transparent. Super transparent. So,
What the hell you holding back for?
so the relationship was someone who I considered a friend for over 20 years. We had a break, but we didn't talk to each other for a while.
Good, 'cause I was curious about this part, but go ahead.
Yeah, we had talked to each other for a while. But then, I was like having a conversation one day, and next thing you know, he was like, it's time for us to do us. And, and because they watch, so I didn't expect anything else. No material stuff mattered.
Okay.
What mattered was that I thought this is somebody I could trust with my heart.
Right. Because you know him.
I know him somehow, and had always been a protector of me. What I was not ready for was the unhealing coming out with me.
Ooh.
Because in the past, shit, we had always navigated that shit together as friends. But it was so different dating someone
Versus being a friend.
being a friend. Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. It was different.
So he had issues with being able to talk to you like he did when you were friends.
Yes, the things that I said as a friend, when I said them as a partner in a relationship, didn't go across the same way. And I'd be like, I'm saying the same shit I always say. What the fuck? What I realized, though, is this. You can't love somebody into their healing.
True.
You can love them and be present for their healing, But you can't love someone into their healing.
I learned
And,
that.
and you know, everything else has been about me. But I want to say this for the females and the males out there. Don't be so afraid to let people love you the way that you think you just that they think you deserve. You gotta believe that yourself.
Right.
You gotta believe that shit. And if a person don't believe that shit, they're not gonna be able to embrace it. And I will give you, and I swear, y'all guys may look at me crazy and think I'm lying about this shit. September was Take a Man Out on a Date month.
Okay.
So this is just one example of how bad this shit went. So I did, first weekend I said somebody, he was like, no, it's not, you just trying to find an excuse for me. I'm like, no, it's Take a Man Out on a Date month. And I'm that chick that have fun with that shit. Like, I like it. If I would have been in a relationship, I'd have called you and said, Jonathan, you want to go to lunch? Because I was like enjoying the shit. I like it. I do it every year. So the next weekend, he agreed for us to go. We went to breakfast. He agreed for us to go. He was very reluctant about it. And we get to breakfast, and he had never been to this place before, right? Frank's Crib. He had never been there. So the waitress comes, and he's trying to figure out what he wants. And I look at the menu, and I said, babe, get that. The steak and egg breakfast. It's Take a Man on a Date month. You can have whatever you want. I'm excited. I'm proud. I'm spending like tree bag.
Right.
That girl walked off from that table, and he said, you just had to announce to everybody in here that you was paying for this shit. I was so stunned.
Wow.
That
Really?
turned left so bad.
Wow.
I'm talking about screaming match in the car, leaving the restaurant. He took it as disrespect.
Really?
It was bad. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And so in the end, our last few conversations, one of the things I said to summarize it, I said, the problem is not me knowing how to love you. The problem that you don't know how to love you.
Mm.
You don't even think you deserve the life you say you want for yourself.
That's deep.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody want to come to your girl? Hey, heal.
First.
Heal.
That's the most important.
Heal.
First.
Because the other part about being a New Orleans girl is I'm very full of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I will not water that down to make somebody else feel comfortable.
Right.
Like, literally. If you can't embrace life fully, I'm not the person for you. I'm not the person for you at all. We gonna live around this motherfucker. We ain't doing shit. Excuse the language, but that's how I feel about it.
Just as a piece of advice for the fellas out there, she's not joking when she say heal. It's important. If you've never thought about it, consider seeing a therapist.
Please and thank you.
You know, a lot of us really kind of shy away from that as a thing. You know, there's that oh, if you going to talk to somebody about your problems, you weak, you soft, you know this or whatever. Fuck that shit. We have problems just like anybody else and need to talk about them. So fellas, please, if you're watching and you never thought about it,
please.
Doesn't matter how old you are, consider talking to a therapist.
I'm telling you, that is the sexiest shit you can do in 2022. For me, go see a goddamn therapist. Heal. And don't trust a therapist that don't have a therapist. I have one on call. I'm serious. Heal. I like black men, a friend of mine, we talked about this. We want to have more conversations where we bring black men to the table and hold these conversations because there's this misconception that strong black women don't want a strong black man. Yes, the fuck we do. But we need you to be healthy. I want to let go. I don't want to decide on shit, but what's for dinner? Can I cook you something? Can I stroke your little ego? You know, hey, can we put on some sexy? You take that shit off. We do what we do. Go to work the next morning with a smile on our face. I'm being good, little real. I'm 54. I'm real grown. It's real grown folks show.
Yeah.
It's a real grown folks show. But you gotta heal. You gotta deal with your shit. You got to. And women too. Go heal with your shit. You got daddy issues. Go unpack that shit. Don't be out here trying to find your daddy and your goddamn man, because women do that shit. Don't do that shit.
What is the
I
new
refuse
thing?
to call another man daddy. I'm not doing that shit.
The new label they put on it is "Let's be toxic." It's like, no, we ain't being toxic. We're not dealing with toxic. Go fix toxic, and then come holler at me.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. And yeah. Shit. Fix toxic. Unpack that shit.
Detox that shit.
Get in your feelings.
Find out what the hell is wrong with you.
Get in your feelings. Don't ever say again. Do this for me, y'all. Stop saying get out your feelings. Stop saying that. Get in your feelings. You may not be able to get in your feelings for everybody, but find somebody that you feel safe talking to, that you can be gut level honest with, and say, this is how I'm feeling.
Right.
This is what happened. This is how I feel about this. I'm hurting. I'm sad. I'm disappointed.
And that's why I say the whole therapy thing is a lot easier than people think. Because okay, and I'm just saying this as a guy because I know how guys tend to think. Okay. You talk to your girl and you might be afraid, well, if we have an argument, she's gonna throw this back in my face later on. Or, you know, if I'm vulnerable in front of her, if I break down in front of her, then she gonna view me as weak or see me as soft and she not gonna respect me. So go talk to somebody who's neutral.
Right.
Go talk to somebody who, if they see you weak or vulnerable, it's not going to matter through the course of your day because they're not the person you're in a relationship with. They're just there to help you work through that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're afraid of opening up to your partner, go open up to a therapist. And then I guarantee you'll probably want to change your partner because if you can't open up to your partner, then you got a bigger problem.
Or consider couples counseling. Most jobs nowadays have EAP. You get like 5 sessions. Go.
For real, take advantage.
Go. Use that shit. Use that shit. Go. For real. Go. For real.
So hopefully that helps somebody out there.
I hope it did.
Really.
I hope it did. Get in your feelings.
Get in your feelings.
Get in your feelings.
So that's another t-shirt you need to make.
I should make that one. Get in your feelings. Yeah.
Pattern for sale at the next event.
Yes. You know that. You know, don't give me an idea because I take and run with the shit. I'm the person who put a damn dress in a suitcase and hopped on a bus and went to New Orleans for a photo shoot.
And look how beautiful that shit came out.
Yes.
Don't nobody care just because you're cute. Don't nobody care.
Stop with that flirt. I can't help it. I'm a Scorpio. I can't help it.
It's in her nature.
It's in my nature. Yeah. And I also have a goal this year too. I'm gonna say it out loud. Geez, I'm losing 60 pounds this year.
Really?
Yes. I want to be a little less thick. I'm gonna still be thick.
And we appreciate that.
Yes. I still, because I ain't going nowhere. But okay. I do want to, in the effort of being healthy and making it to 55 in all seriousness, that means taking care of physical health. True. And being, overweight, that puts me at risk for things such as diabetes. It increases the risk of heart disease and cancer.
High blood pressure,
all of that stuff. And, Grace and Mercy has walked right behind every 2-piece chicken I've had. That was for Ron.
That was some damn chicken. Why you never gonna say that
right now while you playing?
For real.
But So that's one of the things. As I cultivate joy, I'm going to have to. I want to really sincerely work on my health. So I said that out loud so folks can be willing to hold me accountable. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine. I've enjoyed this conversation. I feel like we went over our time, but We got 30 seconds. We got 30 seconds.
We right on time.
We right
on time.
30 seconds. We can sing a song. Joy.
You didn't even see when
and pain.
You didn't even see when I sang you happy birthday, did you?
I didn't. Was I in New Orleans?
I did my Marilyn Monroe voice and everything.
Do it again. Sing it to me.
She wanted me to put this on camera.
You see how I did my show? Sing to me, Jonathan. Sing.
Oh, Lord.
I sung to you. Sing.
Happy birthday.
Oh, shit.
Vanessa. Happy birthday. Vanessa.
Oh.
Happy birthday, dear Vanessa. Happy birthday.
Oh, don't rub your beard now. Shit.
And many more.
Shit, my hands warm now, y'all. I love a man with locks and he rubs his beard and stuff. All right. 30, 10 seconds, looking fresh, we gone.
All right, y'all. As always, we're so glad you decided to join us on another Talk About It Thursday, Happiest Hour. And of course, we have, as always, the fabulous Mr. Nessa Bowler. And my first brother, in the cam.
Thank you.
And we got Brother Ron in the choir section.
Yeah.
What's up?
And thank y'all for joining us once again. We appreciate it. We love y'all. And check out the website, www.
Can we give a shout out to
TheDailySmoke.com.
Tiffany and Los?
For sure.
Shout out to Tiffany. Love you, girl. Shout out to Don Corleone, aka Los.
keep the sock game strong, Los.
Okay, that was it. That's the last dysfunctional moment. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. Thank y'all. We love y'all. We out.
We out.
Peace.